Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I mix my beats. Remember, there is no right or wrong way, it just depends on the beat and how you like it to sound. I just go by how I like it to sound, what I think sounds good, but I'm not an expert. It just takes time and practice. Over time you will train your ears, so don't worry if you're not really sure what sounds good or how you like it to sound. You'll get there with practice. Please subscribe and follow me on Instagram at Lollypopbeatz. So I've got up one of my beats here. It hasn't been mixed at all. I haven't adjusted any of the volumes, so this is what it's sounding like. So yeah, the drums are not hitting at all. The melody I have mixed, so I'm going to show you now just the basic effects that I've added. I literally just add an EQ to every melody if it needs the low end taken out. The low end is the low end frequencies. So there wasn't too much low end here. I've still taken a bit out. And the main reason why you should take out these low end frequencies is because it clashes with the 808. That would lead to like a muddy mix. You'd call it muddy if there was a low piano and there was still low end and then you had the 808 and you could hear it would sound distorted, but not in a good way. There was some harsh sort of mid frequencies, so I just lowered those a bit. By the way, that clicking sound is my CPU. It happens all the time when I use Analog Lab, so I apologise. So overall, I have the melody roughly around -9 decibels. There's a meter here, which you should go by, but not too much. The main thing is using your ears rather than just looking at the numbers on here, but it's a rough guide. So I usually have it anywhere in between -9 to 6. I wouldn't really have it louder than 6, but again, it depends on the sound, depends on the beat. You can see here it's roughly in between. I'm very basic with my mixing effects and everything. When you're adding these effects, make sure you always have the EQ as the very last effect that you're adding. So now I'm going to show you what I do to the drums, how I mix them. So I usually start with 808s. I do Control A and you just click and hold and drag up with the mouse wheel like that and put the velocities to the maximum here. That makes it hit the hardest, and same in the channel rack. But when you're making the beat, it'll be very loud. So just when I'm making the beat, I have it around here. So not too loud when you're making the beat because then it will overpower everything. And also it's just easy on the channel rack to adjust the volumes as you go along. If you need to boost the 808 even more, you can go into pre-computed effects, and then this boost knob is magical. I would put it maybe maximum 3 to 5%, that's all it needs. But if you use my drums, it doesn't really need this boost. I have a stash kit called the Anomaly Stash Kit. I use it in every single beat. They just hit hard, they're clean, especially this spins. I've named it hardest spins ever because it is, and also this one. So the link will be in the description if you want to go get my kit. Then as soon as I put on the 808, I go to the mixer, master channel, and put in soft clipper. Just the default setting, I don't change anything, and a soft clipper just makes it so that overall the beat won't go higher than 0 decibels, and it will sound loud but it won't allow it to go beyond that. So the 808, if we go in here, we single out the 808, okay, it's very loud and it's crackling. You can see it's way louder than 0, but then when you put the soft clipper on the master, it will not go above 0. Usually with the snare, I will put it full volume on the channel rack and that's it. Let me just add in an open hat for reference as well. And you send it to the mixer track by highlighting the open hat and then Control L. So from the channel rack we turn down the 808, so I'm just going to put that to the maximum. Everything else can stay the same. So we're going to go one by one, just let the melody play. Usually I start with the clap or snare. So the main clap and snare I will always have at -3, and that snare is quite loud, so I might turn it down a little bit. Then hi-hats, roughly between about -10 to -8, I'd say. Make sure you mute the 808. As you can see, that is gonna be very loud. So turn it on and just turn it down to like there. Then I do not look at the meter for the 808 at all. I used to do that. I'd say there, so what's it at? I'm sorry for my CPU, oh my god. Yeah, it's just over 0. But then on the master, it will not go above 0. That's probably a bit too loud, but I just want the 808 quite loud, and that 808 itself is distorted anyway. Basically, there was this generic trap beat chart that I saw of how to mix. I'm gonna play as an example one of my beats from 2020. I was really doing it according to this chart, and it just shows you, hopefully you can hear the difference in the mix. That's all I knew at the time, and I thought it sounded good at the time. It's just not hitting. You can barely hear the 808. If you're a beginner or don't really know what you're doing, it's absolutely fine to follow. I did follow that for about a year to 2 years. So then you realise my beats are not hitting and it's just too quiet. Doesn't apply for every single beat. Every beat is different. Also, I added a soft clipper and then a compressor. I don't know why I've added a compressor, but then again, people use that and say this is how I make my beats hit hard. Also, people use the limiter. I would not touch a fruity limiter or any limiter. Like get that off my master. I just swear by a soft clipper. That is all you need. No fancy soft clipper. Fruity soft clipper will do the trick. And you'll see lots of big industry producers use it too. It doesn't matter what you use, what clipper you use, just the default setting. If you know how to use a compressor, fine, but I clearly didn't know what I was doing and it just made beats sound terrible. Oh, and the open hat, forgot the open hat. In between like -18 to -12, anywhere in there. Again, it just depends on the beat. Some people like their open hats, hi-hats, perks really loud. I do still catch myself referring to looking at the numbers on the meter way more than I should. You should probably close your eyes and just let your ears do the work when mixing. Maybe I'll try that next time. If you need to put something louder, so say the 808 or anything, click the thingy, whatever that is, and just adjust the volume here. You can make it super loud by this. I do that with the melodies as well. So when sending out beats to artists, I'd send out this version, so mix to 0 dB. You want it to be as loud as possible, hard and punchy. Sending out beats, post them on YouTube, I always have it to 0 dB. Then if you're sending stems or a wave file, I'd do it to -6. Definitely with stems, I'd always have it at -6. That's something, again, I've just been told. The engineer is going to do all of the mixing work anyway. It just allows enough room for the artist's vocals without it distorting or whatever. And then the engineer will make it louder when they're doing their job. It's going to be changed anyway. I've heard lots of people say they think their beats have been ruined by the engineer and, you know, the drums don't hit as hard. One thing I like is my 808 to be probably louder than it should. That's just my preference. You just have to make the beats to what you like and how you want it to sound. I'm sure the artist won't even notice the difference. They just want to hear that 808. That's what you feel, especially in the studio over loud monitors and stuff. Just make sure they're hitting hard in the kick, whatever you use. The most important thing that's going to help a mix is just high quality drums and high quality sounds in the melody. And it took me a while to find the sounds that I thought sounded the best and made the beats sound the hardest. So that's why over time it's good to just put your favorite sounds into a folder. We all use the same sounds, but some are just very slightly, you have your favorite sounds that you always go to. It can be the same hi-hat, but it just sounds slightly different. You'll know if you know. Then finally, if I feel like I need to boost the high end of the entire beat, I just add this fruity parametric EQ and I just boost this a tiny bit, so the middle range, and then the high end a little bit. If I feel the beat needs it, then I'll add it. Otherwise, wait, let me just play what that sounds like. I don't think this beat needs it really. I think it's a bit too loud. And the drums, I think that snare is quite loud anyway and punchy, so you don't really need that. Very, very basic, just EQ, reverb, halftime maybe. And then nothing on the drums. I do nothing, no effects on the drums whatsoever. Really is just a lot of practice, and over time your ears will change. In a couple months from now I might want to mix my meats I might want to mix my beats way differently. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and other people can help you as well. You know, this is just how I do it. Everyone's going to be different. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and follow me on Instagram at Lollypopbeatz. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.